Let me pull up this story first and we'll throw it to Jack. We have this from timcast.com. Department of Homeland Security forms Disinformation Governance Board. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said the board would work to prevent disinformation campaigns that target minority groups. They lost Twitter, and this quickly. They are already trying to play dirty games. We have it over at the Daily Mail where they mention it is being Biden sets up Disinformation Governance Board, and it is being headed by a Russia expert who called the Hunter laptop story a Trump campaign product and said she shudders to think about Elon Musk taking over Twitter. Well, here's our Ministry of Truth. Jack, what's going on?
Well, Tim, see, here's the thing, is that Nina Jankowicz of the Moaning Myrtles has responded. So she's responded to some of this criticism. She notes, for those who believe this tweet is key to all my views, it is simply a direct quote from both candidates. For you see, this was during the final presidential campaign. And if you look at my timeline, you will see I was live tweeting these. See, she was just live tweeting. She was just live tweeting the debate. Except here's the problem. In the immediate follow-up tweet to this, she wrote, the emails didn't need to be altered to be part of an influence campaign. Voters deserve the context. Again, the key word context, not a fairy tale about a laptop repair shop. She called it an influence campaign in the very next tweet. So we caught her in day one on the job lying about what she said about the Hunter Biden laptop, trying to cover it up. But I'm sorry, Nina, we got the receipts.
Can I say that I find it a little odd that we've all bought into arguing over sort of the minutia of how this is done, instead of stepping back and looking at 2015 and the notion that anybody should control for any reason. So we're arguing, should they control a certain hashtag? Does it really attack people? Wasn't attacked? Why are they controlling a hashtag in the first place? Before 2015, there was relatively little, if any, discussion over bringing in third parties, a corporation, no less, to control the content that we can access and make our own decisions on the internet. The social media companies had already invented tools where we could control our own experience. If you don't want to see something, if you want someone to call your experience, you can follow the right people, you can block other people. The notion that someone else should be doing that for us was introduced to us in about 2016, and we've kind of bought into it. We've argued over the terms, but we've kind of bought into that there are reasons why this should be done, and there are people who could maybe do it better, instead of stepping back, in my view, and saying, only that which is illegal should be moderated by anybody, in my view.
Well, that's where we've been, right? So we had,
yes,
we had
obviously.
Torba from Gab on the show who said, here's my rules, and he pulls out the Constitution. And I'm like, agreed.
Well, that's kind of what Elon's saying now, that his notion, and this, by the way, this is why these two stories are connected, because Elon said that his view, and he said this in that TED talk he gave last week, it was actually an interview, I guess, that his notion should be that it should be up to the laws of the state in which Twitter is operating, because those laws are reflective of the will of the people, I guess, if you're in a democracy, right? That being said, the very same way, the ink isn't even dry on the paperwork for Twitter, and already the Biden administration is launching a Ministry of Truth.
They know they've lost this one. And they had such power in the private sector because their sycophants were just like, but it's a private company. Now that they've lost it because someone had the money to buy it, now it's going government. This will be interesting.